So my problem was figuring out where and how to get enough students to...
Excellent. And the problem metaphor was?
Is like being a bug crawling around.
Okay. The outcome was?
Or flying around. And then the outcome was having enough students to fill hypnosis trainings.
Excellent. And what was the outcome metaphor?
Bridge? Where's my partner? Was it a bridge? I think it was a bridge, right? Bridge, yeah.
Okay, so how was a bridge like having enough clients? If you don't know this stuff, you can't do the story, of course, right? I may hallucinate it, but I need to know yours. So how is the bridge?
By
the way, now he's doing the work.
Yep. How is a bridge like?
Is the bridge, let me do another one, is the bridge like having all the clients you want?
Actually, no. We ended up having...
So what's missing?
Okay.
So she gave me the wrong outcome metaphor so far, right?
Right.
So what's missing? By the way, this should not be rocket science right now. Are we doing exactly what we did yesterday right now? Yes? So what's missing?
It's like a hive.
It's like a hive. Now that's much better. How is having enough clients like a hive?
Because they're all
Yeah?
all the bees.
By the way, watch his hand mannerisms. This is the answer to your questions. All the bees are?
You see? Do you see?
So all the bees are doing this switching around, yeah? And how's that like having enough clients?
Because although they may seem to be swarming all over the place, they all end up in the same place.
Right. So it's really, if you look at just one bee, it looks like it's swarming around chaotically, but ultimately they all end up in the same place, right? So now, how does the hive relate to the bug crawling or flying around? By the way, most of you guys have probably connected that up already, haven't you? Right?
Actually, I thought of the bug originally because I played some music and I inhaled a wasp.
Nice.
Once.
Right?
Yeah.
And so how was that like not having enough clients? That doesn't... you need to help me on this one a little bit.
Well, the wasp, its place is not in my lungs.
Its place is not what?
In my lungs.
Not in your lungs.
Yes.
How is that to do? What has that got to do with not having enough clients? I'm not sure how that relates to each other. I get that the wasp does not belong in your lungs. That's a very healthy attitude to take.
I don't understand.
What I'm asking you is, how does the wasp kind of flying around relate to the problem of not being able to find enough clients? So you see, by the way, now going back to simplifying things again, I'm just going back to their unconscious mind to do the solving for me. So you'll see this process in action in a moment, so you don't have to do the work. So I'm just going to fix the confusion we created. So go ahead.
I mean, if you have just one, if you have to, I mean, going back to students,
Yeah.
if I have a few students, that's good maybe for one training, but then for the next training.
And how does that relate to the bug flying around? You see, he's trying to escape the connection. So either the connection is not correct, or he's about to find out how to collapse the whole metaphor on himself, right? So is not having enough students like this bug flying around?
Well, yeah, I mean, because you can catch one bug at a time, right? But then
got it. So if I understand correctly, then if someone's trying to catch a bug and they just have one bug flying around, it's a lot of effort to get enough bugs for their collection. Let's say so now he's just suggests the metaphor, right? What if you had now someone who's like what's the correct term for people who collect insects? There's a entomologist. Thank you. So let's say we have an entomologist happily frolicking through the fields with his little net and let's swoop all the bugs and so on. And he suddenly realizes how hard it is to find a goddamn bug. And when you do find a bug, it gets flittering everywhere and there's just one. And you swipe here and you swipe there and after half an hour you get one. It's so much effort and it's so tiring. At the end of the day, he comes home with maybe one or two little, insects for his collection, and he proudly pins them up and puts them on his board and so on. Meanwhile, he looks at the other entomologists, the professional entomologists. They come home from the field trip with jars and jars and jars full of bugs. How do they do that? It's frustrating because he's running around all day and all night swiping for the bugs and so on. And then one day he turns around and looks at one of the professional entomologists and says, listen, you've got to give me a heads up. How do you find all those bugs? How do you do it? Because I'm running around the field with my net and I'm swiping and it's hard. And the man looks at him and says, oh, I understand. When I was a young man just like you, I was running around and I was swiping left and I was swiping right and I found it really, really difficult. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I'm an entomologist. I don't just collect bugs, I study them. And I know something about bugs that other people would probably know but don't really know. They have a home. Take the humble bee. It's out and about, flitting from flowers and flowers. And if you try to chase each individual bee, you'd be in so much trouble. But then I know where the bees live. All I have to do is watch one bee and see where it goes. And where it goes, suddenly, eventually, it'll come home. And when you get home, other bees are joining it. And all flying around this bee's nest. Is there a nest for bees? Who knows? Hi, thank you. Thank you. It's the wasp that triggered me, right? And so, as a young man, I stood there in front of the hive and I saw these bees and a glorious vision of reality came to me. All I have to do is find out where these bugs like to hang out. And then another realization happened. What if I went to the places they all like to hang out and I lay a little trail of food all to the same place, and when they all got there, I zapped them with my entomology gun. And I stuck them all in jars and took them home and pinned them on my wall, and that's why I've got hundreds of bugs, and you have one. You're not thinking like a bug yet. But as soon as you do, you'll know what tasty treats to leave out for them, and you'll attract exactly the kind of bug that you want. But it takes some study first. You've got to learn their habits. You've got to learn what they like. You've got to learn, maybe sometimes through trial and error, what food attracts which bugs. So if you put out the wrong food, and you'll never get the bugs you want. The more you discover about what a bug wants and a bug needs, the more easily you'll be able to prepare just the right combination of irresistible ingredients that all the bugs you could possibly want will just turn up in front of your house. And all you have to do is open your jar, close the jar, and you'll be a happy man. At that point, the young man thanked this expert profusely and said, you know what? I realized that the only way to be successful in life is when someone gives you good advice like this, to actually go and do it. So I promise you, I will not undervalue all the work and the advice you've given me. I'm going to go and do it. I'm going to find out all I can about these bugs. I'm going to list them out in order of priority. I'm going to give 100 points to the butterfly because it's beautiful and 1 point to the fly because it's a bit crappy. And then I'm going to create a game. I'm going to create a game like bingo. It's entomology bingo. And I'm going to have numbers. And I'm going to have insects. I'm going to fill the wall with it. And I'm going to study each insect until I understand how to attract it. And when I finally know the exact combination that gets that insect, I'm going to cross it off my bingo wall. And I'm going to say, thank you, Mr. Entomologist, for teaching me how to catch a bug.